Start. So thank you guys all for being on this call and hopping on. And it's kind of cool because I know that so many on this team have are not sponsored by me and have other direct sponsors who host calls for them. But I'm glad that we could all kind of rally together and come together for this call. And so thank you for being on. I wanted to go over some things on just preparing yourself for the beginning of the new year, getting started. I mean, here we are at the end of 2017, which just blows my mind because I feel like it has gone so quickly and just flown by. And I do have slides because I am a very visual person. And so I'm going to go ahead and share these slides with you guys. And then it helps me stay on track too. So I'm talking about how to set yourself up for success in 2018. And obviously, I want everybody to be taking notes. So please, please, please set your phones aside. You already took your little screenshot for Instagram stories, right? And then set your phone aside and please take notes and really soak this in because I think a lot of it you'll want to remember kind of moving forward. So pull out your pen and paper at this point because I want you to first identify what it is that you want. Because if you are setting yourself up for success, you really have to identify what does success look like for you. And this seems really obvious, right? But I'm also surprised just talking with coaches and kind of getting a feel for people where everybody is at. And it seems a lot of coaches are like, well, I didn't hit my goals in 2017. And so I don't know what goals I want to set for 2018. And they're like, what should I go for? I'm not really sure. I want to make sure I'm having fun in this and feeling fulfilled in this, but I don't want to stress out. And I totally get that. Like I've missed goals myself. So I definitely understand firsthand how that feels. But I want you to identify and be aware that if you don't set a goal, then you're definitely not going to feel fulfilled and have enjoyment in this business because that act of moving forward comes when you set a goal. And so if you're not moving forward in this, you're not going to have progress. You're not going to be fulfilled by this, and it's not even going to be fun. And so you do still need to set goals. You can customize that for yourself, even if you want to think in 12-week terms and say, in this 12 weeks, this is what's important to me. This is what I'm focusing on. This is what I want this business to look like for me. And this is how I'm going to be fulfilled. And that's okay. And then you can say, okay, after these 12 weeks, then I will reevaluate and set another goal for the following 12 weeks. But I also want you to realize that I don't want you guys to just be Beachbody robots. I don't want Beachbody to consume your life. And so when you're thinking of success for 2018, I know that this is a call for Beachbody coaches, but I want you to think about your whole life. You know, how will you live your best life? I heard this question asked, and maybe it was just the way it was worded or where I was at as I heard it, but it just, what kind of human do you want to be? You know, what kind of wife do you want to be? What kind of girlfriend do you want to be? Spouse, whatever. What kind of mom do you want to be? What kind of coach do you want to be? Fill in the blank there. And I think of that and I've been thinking, I want to be the kind of person who keeps my house clean. I want to be the kind of person who gets up and gets ready every day. I want to be a person who makes my bed, like little things that, that's the kind of person I want to be. That's the kind of wife I want to be. Like, I want my husband to have a wife who, gives him hugs and gives him a kiss and, lets him know that I love him. And I want to be the kind of friend who sends out a text to gather a group of people to go out for a birthday lunch. I've just been thinking about this in all aspects of my life. Because time passes so quickly. And I don't think any of you guys will be fulfilled ultimately if you reach all of your Beachbody goals and you let everything else go by the wayside. And so looking into this next year, I want you to set goals despite any goals that you have failed in, but I want you to set goals in every aspect of your life and realize that this is your opportunity to feel so deeply satisfied because you're moving forward. Now, keep in mind in all of this that happiness is progress. Sorry, that happens when the doorbell rings. We have like a sound system thing, and so all of the music goes on really loud right before the doorbell. Can't avoid that. Anyways, but with this, that totally threw me off. I want you guys to identify that you have to be willing to make yourself uncomfortable, and that has to be your choice, because like you can't get to a different place unless you do something different. And you have to know and accept that when you do something different, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel not natural. And that resistance isn't yourself like getting the clue to not do it. You have to like be willing to do something uncomfortable every day. And that's how you know you're making progress. And guys, like I learned this at Tony Robbins, but he talks about like it really doesn't matter where you are in life, like what you've achieved or what you haven't achieved. It's that feeling of I am moving forward that makes you feel that fulfillment in life and that happiness and that joy. So I want you to keep that in mind. Like that path of least resistance that's misery. That equals misery. And so many times we think, I don't want to do anything uncomfortable. That's scary. I'm like going to hold back or whatever. But really, you're like holding yourself back from joy when you do that. And so make yourself uncomfortable every single day. Now, I'm going to make sure in this chat, I'm totally, okay, I wasn't checking in. I just want to make sure my sound didn't cut out when the doorbell rang. So screenshot this if you guys haven't already identified this, but I'm not going to dive into this because I think most people have heard the acronym of SMART goals, but your goals need to be specific. They need to be measurable. They need to be attainable, realistic, time-bound, again, in all areas of your life. Like for me to say, I want to be the kind of friend who remembers birthdays and takes, gathers, as I said, my girlfriends in my neighborhood to go to lunch. When I see someone is having a birthday, I can measure that. I can cross that off. That's realistic. That has a deadline. It's specific. It's measurable. Like that's a SMART goal for me to set relating to the kind of friend that I want to be. So in all areas of your life, really take this month to kind of identify the SMART goals that you're going to set. Okay. Now with this, as you are setting goals, one thing that I want to go back to here really quick too, looking at my notes, I forgot to really mention this. Can I encourage you guys all to have a hobby? Moving into this next year, I just really feel it's important that you get to have that chance every day to have the feedback that you are doing something with your life that's moving you forward. And sometimes in this business, we don't get that feedback right away. And I just think that if you have that feedback coming back in some way in your life, then your life is on fire, your soul is on fire, and it bleeds into other areas of your life. And so this is called being like a whole, complete human being, right? And not being like so lopsided. And so it keeps your mind in the right frame is how I feel. And so please be unplugged at times. Please don't work Beachbody 12, 14 hours a day. Even if you're going for elite, even if you're going for, you want to bust through some income bracket level and you feel, okay, this is the year I'm going to make a 6-figure income. This is the year I'm going to make a 7-figure income. You are in a business model that is possible, but please don't, it doesn't require you to work 24 hours a day. It just doesn't, okay? And so I want you guys to make sure to live your best life, that you have those hobbies, that you are spending time unplugged. And when you are working Beachbody, that you are being very intentional with your time and being very productive with your time. And then it will be rewarding and fulfilling. But with this business, back to this slide, you guys have got to trust the process. And I know, especially right now, this is like the hardest season of the year. And I don't know why. Maybe it has something to do with Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, but people tend to not care about their nutrition and care about their fitness during this time. And so it is like a winter season. And for many people, when this is their first fall that they have ever experienced at a beach as a Beachbody coach, they're like, what the heck? I'm talking to so many people and I'm just not hitting Success Club like I used to be. And I want you guys to realize that that's pretty normal. And so it doesn't mean it's not attainable to still hit those goals, but just recognize it may take more effort during this time. But you still get to trust in the process, that you do reap what you sow in this business. And I just wanted to remind everybody of that there are no shortcuts. There's just not. Even if you paid all of this money in Facebook ads or like watched the latest trading on Instagram and all of these things, you still can't beat the system. That this is a relationship business, and people do business with people that they know and trust. And so I have added to this Farming 101 slide that you have to prep the soil. Like, you have to show up consistently. I grew up in Idaho, and I know that when there's a big farmland, like, they rotate the crops. Like, sometimes they have to prep that soil for years for it to be ready to then be planted on and then have those seeds nourished before it's ready to harvest. And so, guys, you got to prep the soil by showing up every day, like by showing people that this is your lifestyle. This is what you do. Like, you read these books, you're working on your personal growth, both in your fitness and in your mind and your whole being, that you are a person that they're like, okay, like, she's moving forward, she can help me. So this is the time above all else when it is so critical that you are being consistent. And so if I can encourage you guys to really stick with the fitness program and like being loud about it, and being bold about that journey that you're on with your health and fitness, and showing them that, look, I did a 3-day reset and this was my result. I did the 3 weeks of 21-day fix, and these are my results. I did 30 days of T25, like whatever it is. The more that you're talking about it now, I promise that those people are watching and noticing and paying attention. And so take it from me, someone who's been doing this for over 5 years now, that it's normal for this to be a harder season. And this is where you really trust in the process and don't pull back your effort to match the results that you're getting. Instead, you step it up and know that it's going to pay off. Okay. Now, that was all related to my tip number 1 of knowing what you want. The second section of this call, and I'm going to catch up in my notes here, is identify what is holding you back right now. So maybe 2017 didn't go the way you wanted it to. Even if you had the best year, I still feel that nobody is living at their capacity. Nobody has maximized their potential. I know I haven't. I don't know anybody who has. That's why we're here in life. We get to continue moving forward. So no matter who you are, there is something that is holding you back. And for some people, this may be a lack of action. Maybe you are what I have learned the term is buffering. Like, maybe you are buffering by avoiding this business, by finding ways to be busy in social media, or by watching a reality TV show, or by, overeating or whatever, that you're buffering sometimes to avoid taking action. And many times it is fear. Again, from Tony Robbins, one of the things I learned from him is that everybody has there's a common root fears that everybody has. And these are the ones I could remember, maybe because these are the ones I can relate to. But I wanted to say that there was one more and I couldn't remember what it was. But he talked about that there's really these underlying fears that line the decisions that we make. And it's typically a fear of not being good enough, like not being good enough for acceptance of another person, or not being a good enough coach, or not being a good enough sponsor or friend or whatever. Fear of not being loved or not being lovable, and fear of failure. And really what I've learned so much this past year is that really all boils down to a fear of emotions. Because really, is any of that actually going to kill you? No. It's just not. None of, like, it feels heavy, and it feels like those are like, oh, like those, it feels very real. But it's really just an emotion. Like, you feel that you failed, or you feel like you're not good enough because you failed, or whatever. But when you realize, at least for me, when I break it down to that, like, baseline, that everything is just a fear of feeling an emotion, I'm like, dude, I can handle an emotion. Like, a feeling is just a feeling. It's not that big of a deal. Like, I can work through that. And I feel, especially just with everything that I've learned through personal development, I'm like, it's just not that big of a deal. For me to feel a feeling, it doesn't identify me. I don't have to overthink it. I don't have to give it more significant meaning than it is. This is all just an experience. Like, so it really just doesn't matter. It doesn't identify me. I'm not a better person because I reach a goal. I'm not a worse person for missing a goal. It all just doesn't really matter. It's just an experience. And so it's all okay. Now, if you feel like, okay, well, the fear of failure is a really big deal, and that's really holding me back. Maybe this is what I've heard from some people, that they feel like, I have a fear of failure, and this is holding me back in my business because I haven't reached my goals. I see a lot of people who haven't reached their goals, and I'm just doubting the business. I'm doubting myself. Now, I just want to be really real with you guys now. And I want to acknowledge that the last year or two have been hard. And I have my personal beliefs on that and why. And here's the thing, is that in this business, there were years where people were like tripling their income every single year. And that hasn't really happened the last year or two. And so let's just be honest about it, and let's talk about it, okay? And here's the thing. There are people who their income has still grown. I don't know anyone whose income has tripled like it used to. And that used to be kind of just the standard, where everyone's income would just double. And a lot of people who are just working really hard have sustained or just seen growth, but not like that. And the reason why, let's talk about it, is we went to Beachbody On Demand, right? And so I understand that that changed things, but I feel the biggest reason why it changed things is twofold. One was the 10% discount that everybody was getting on their Shakeology order. Guys, you can feel confident moving forward because we've taken that away. Oh, and I don't just flipped you all off. Totally flipped you all off and you didn't even laugh. But that's been taken care of. It's really just not an issue moving forward, okay? But it did affect people. And so I can understand when people lost hope, because that's frustrating for a new coach who comes in and they're like, wait, I'm not making as much money as you told me you made from the same amount of customers coming in. And that's because they were getting 15% commission on a lower amount of what the customer was paying. And then the second thing is just not being able to earn money on new fitness programs coming out because it was just all free, right? With Beachbody On Demand. Did you guys listen to the National Wake Up Call though this morning from Miguel, Kim Carver? So good. Now I can tell you guys, I do feel that this matter is being resolved for the people who are smart about it. It will take creativity, and it will take someone being intentional about the new program launches coming out. But this is something that we have been really talking a lot about on the Coach Advisory Board. So if you guys aren't familiar with what that is, the network is represented by 8 coaches to the corporate, and it's called the Coach Advisory Board. And we talk about things we need to do differently in the network and things that we need to change in the direction and things like that. And I am a part of that Coach Advisory Board. And these are the conversations that we've been having is, what can we do to kind of steer this ship in the right direction. And I am personally really pumped up about these mega packs and bundles that we have come up together for the 80-day obsession. And so I do feel that creates the opportunity for a spike for the people who are being intentional about this launch and really taking all of the advice that you heard this morning from Miguel. I feel like that was solid golden information. I heard someone asking if there was anyone who took notes, and I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I was listening to it, I was getting ready this morning, and I'm like, I really hope someone else is taking notes because I'm going to have to like listen to this again. Because this gives you such good advice on how to make sure that this launch is a like spike up and then a flywheel effect, because then there'll be another new program coming out, and we're talking about how to make sure that there's a high volume and commission that's attached so that people are earning money with each of the program launches. And so I can see where some people have lost hope, and I can understand where they're coming from, but I also can tell you that I genuinely feel that things are going to be different. And I genuinely am hopeful and excited about the future, and I feel our best days are yet to come. And so I'm not burying my head in the sand. I'm not oblivious. The only thing that I'm concerned about are the coaches who have personalized their failure or their lack of income growth, that they thought, like, I've been in this for 2 years, I should be at this income level. Like, I can see where they're coming from, but it's not because they're not capable. And so I just feel, guys, like moving forward, things are going to be so much better, and I'm confident in that, but your action has to still be there. So like Beachbody changing the things that they have changed moving forward doesn't compensate for a lack of action. And so you still have to take action. You still have to move forward. But I can tell you guys, I am really grateful for the past year and a half, 2 years, because I love this. You guys might have already read this screen here. But I heard this on a call the other day, and I was like, oh, I love that. It's from a book or a podcast, I can't remember. But they talked about a bridge and how there's that arc, and how the way to strengthen that arc is to put weight on it, because it binds the stones together, and only by that tension does it hold weight. And I heard that, and I like wrote it down, and I thought of this team, and I thought of the Beachbody Network, and I'm like, there has been tension on it. And the people who are here, I am so grateful for, and I feel so connected to them. And I am like, we are binded together because, and the people who are here have chosen to be here. And the people who like have decided that this isn't for them, you know, I wish them well. I have nothing negative to say about them. I wish them good luck. But I'm just so grateful for my tribe and for that awareness of who my people are. And I've also been really grateful for the hard times that I've experienced in this business, because it's really helped me to sift through is the word I'm looking for, the things that just don't matter, the activities that just don't really matter. Like, I sat there and I'm like, I had 2 personal assistants, and I really let them go, because I'm like, really, do I need that? No, I don't. Like, I can do this. And the cool thing about that is then I was like, boy, I was delegating out the things that anybody could do. But by doing so, I was delegating out things that were bringing me joy. And I wasn't having as much fun in this business because of that. And so I'm like, I am grateful that I kind of went through this journey, because I've been able to reinvent myself for the better. I listened to this book called The Obstacle is the Way. And that is actually where the bridge analogy came from, now that I remember and think about that. But he talks about this, and he gives so many examples of these companies that, because they had this like swing down, you know, in that roller coaster thing, and it swung down, because of that, they reinvented and made adjustments that propelled them much higher than they ever could have been on their like previous like projection. And I think of Beachbody with that. And like the adjustments that corporate is making, that coaches are making, is only going to make us stronger and better than ever, and propel us forward. and on such a trajectory that like we were never even capable of. And so I personally am really excited about that. So I want you guys to just know that you've got to move forward and you've got to take action. Otherwise, if you give into the fear, then you for sure create failure. And so if you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you don't ask, the answer will always be no. If you don't step forward, you're never going to know what you're capable of. And so I want you guys to come to peace with the past, recognize it that it's a good thing because of the things that you've learned from it, but you always have a choice and you can continue moving forward. And I see multiple coaches who are earning massive amount of successful points. And I don't bring that up to make anyone feel like bad for not having massive successful points, but to just point out that there is a need, that there are people who are looking to have their health and fitness, like to be a part of a community, to move forward, to do this. And so the need hasn't gone away for us as Beachbody coaches. And really I see pretty much everything else out there that I'm like, okay, people are eventually going to decide that they don't want to do that. But I don't ever see this being a fad. I don't ever see Beachbody going out of style, because health and fitness is something that everybody comes to a point in their life where they realize that's important. And even if they get discouraged and then give up for a little while, they come around. Like I didn't have a chance to comment on it yet, but someone posted a screenshot of a message that they received back where someone was like, never mind, I decided I don't want to do it. I just want to be fat. And she was being sarcastic, but I wanted to comment and share, like, don't worry about it. Like, you keep being you and like lead by example, because that person is going to come around. Like, they will eventually see that their health and fitness matters and that they need to take care of themselves. And if they're not in that space right now, that's okay. But they'll come around eventually. And that's why I'm just proud to be a part of this company and what we have to offer, because it is life-changing. And so you've got to move forward. I don't care what this past year has been like for you. This is a time for you to start fresh and move forward, knowing that Beachbody's fix things on their end and everything. They're continuing to like just improve and only getting better. But we have to act and move forward without carrying that with us, without saying, oh, well, I didn't reach my goals, and so that's evidence that I'm not going to. I don't want you guys looking in the rearview mirror to decide where you're going. I want you to just look forward and say, what do I want? And I'm not going to let this hold me back. I'm moving forward with my life. So leads to third action for you guys, and this is to take action, okay? And I want you to realize that you take action whether you feel like it or not, because then the confidence follows, okay? And I'm sorry, my mouth is so dry, so just a second. But I loved this from The Alchemist. It's one of those great books, but this quote is that there is only one way to learn. It is through action. Everything you need to know, you have learned through your journey. And this is like one of those reasons why I have really, I'm always kind of like on the fence, not on the fence with team calls and with training all around, because I'm like, guys, how you learn is by acting. And this business is so simple. It is so simple when we break this down. And the only thing that's complicated is our head. Like, we get in our own way, but the business is very simple and it's very easy to do. And so many people are like, well, I need to know more. I need to wait for the fear to go away. Like, I asked a coach the other day, why are you not inviting? And she's like, I'm still so afraid. And I'm like, the problem is you're waiting for fear to go away, like, before you act. But that will never, ever happen. Like, you learn to act in spite of fear, and you learn to act even when you don't feel confident, even when you don't feel like it. And when you take action, the feelings follow. And so I'm not saying in this that I want you to spend your entire day doing Beachbody and be like, all right, guys, take action, sacrifice all the things to do Beachbody. But I feel that it's about being productive in your time that you spend doing this, like really moving forward and being intentional with your choices. I am on a huge Brooke Castillo podcast kick, and I think it's been I don't know, one of the life-changing podcasts that I've been listening to. But she has one on productivity and another one on massive action and another one on hard work. You could listen to any one of those three and you get a huge kick in the butt because she talks about this is not about the amount of time that you spend on something. It is about what are you producing in your time. And so, and I love that because I've really stepped back on how much time I'm spending towards this because, like that previous slide, I've realized that a lot of things didn't matter and so I was able to cut it out and do the things that led to progress, do the things that led to productivity and producing results and being really intentional with my time. I have to fill you guys in on a little secret. And I don't know if it's only my phone because I got one of the newer phones, but you guys will have to check and tell me if it's on your phone as well. And this is for the iPhone. But if you go under settings, I show you guys, you can see my white screen and you guys can't, I know. But you go down to battery. It tells you on your battery usage, it tells you in the last 24 hours, actually if I bring this down, you can see. It shows you in last 24 hours, and then there's a little timestamp. How I click that blue on and off there, that tells you exactly how many hours you spent on Facebook in the last 24 hours and exactly how many hours and minutes you spent on Facebook, Gmail, podcasts, all of your apps, which is kind of scary and good to just know. So you can be real with yourself on okay, how much time am I really actually spending? Because that's tracking it for you whether you want it to or not. And so you can say, what did I produce in that time? Are you wasting time? Are you scrolling through the newsfeed, not really doing anything? Take action on the invites. And this kind of leads into this. Now I have the acronym on the side, KISS, KISS. And it stands for keep it simple, stupid. And it kind of made me a little negative, but I think about all the time, KISS, keep it simple. I'm overcomplicating this. It's really not that hard. And I've just realized in this business, I'm okay, I've gotten in a routine where I'm if I just wake up and send out my 3 to 5 invites right then, first thing in the morning, that takes 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't take very long. Then I get my kids out the door, I've got kids in school, and then I do my workout. And then I'm really only takes 1 to 2 hours is totally sufficient in this business when you're being intentional and really action driven. And so just realize that this right here, this screen, this is all you really need to do. These are the most important activities. Engage, post daily, create content of value, make sure people are getting to know you. I personally love the Insta stories, and I feel like that's where people are getting to know me in the best way, quicker than ever. I feel like it took a much longer time on Facebook for people to get to know me. I had to be really strategic with my posts. I had to make sure that I crafted things in the right way, that it grabbed their attention, and I was really expressing myself well, and that took an art, it was a craft, right? And it took time to kind of hone in those skills. And I feel like Insta Stories, it's quicker than ever. It's easier than ever before in this business. This is good news for everybody. If you have kind of stepped back from this business and you're okay, I want to get back in, but I'm not sure where to start, I will tell you that the good news is it's easier than ever before to meet new people and make them your friend, to let them know who you are. Because Insta stories is like mindless for me. Like, I'm like, this is what I'm doing right now. Like, here's who I am. And I feel like the people who are watching you want to watch you. They want to be there. Otherwise, they don't watch you. So I'm like, every view that I see there, I'm like, this is my person. I can totally message this person without it being out of place, because if they're watching my stories, they know my heart, they know me, and they probably feel like we're buddies. And so it's okay. It's not going to be out of place for me to message them and kind of engage in this conversation with them. And so that's where I'm making sure that I post daily, is in my Insta stories, and kind of trying to create value, trying to make sure that people get to know me, and engage. Engage with people on their page. Now, whether that's Instagram page or Facebook page, that's where I'm making sure that I follow them, and I'm liking their posts, I'm commenting on their Insta stories, and just engaging with people. And this part for me, like, is really fun. Like, I like this because I feel like I'm getting to know them and I know these people. Sending those private messages, okay? Adding people to your page. This might be TMI, but every time I sit down to go to the bathroom, I have a goal to find 10 new people to follow. Because I'm like, otherwise I waste time, right? I'm like, I'm just going to sit there and like do nothing. And so that's like my, like, okay, if I'm going to take my phone into the bathroom with me, I have to spend that time following 10 new people during that time. And for me, I'll tell you with Instagram, I don't want to go too much into training on these things, because I feel there's really good ones in that I shared from leadership in the team page and also on Beachbody Champions. But I will tell you guys that I find the easiest, not through searching hashtags, but by searching location. And so you'll know, like, where people can check in and say, like, okay, I'm in Gilbert, Arizona, or I'm at the zoo, or I'm at the library. Think of where your target audience people are going. You know, are your people going to the open house at the new restaurant opening down the street? Like, look at those. And that's where I'm finding better people that are in my niche market. And guys, like with UK launch, like, you can look up, okay, what are the family-friendly spots in this UK city? Like, get on Google, figure that out, see who all is checking into that spot. Boom, you've got all of these new followers and people that you can engage with and add to your page that you just engage with and follow. And, you know, hopefully then they see your content, want to follow you back. So again, I feel like it's easier than ever before to add new people to your page. Now, when I say it's easier than ever before, don't again think that this means you still get to shortcut. Like, there's still the harvest season where you still have to plant and harvest and nourish those seeds. Plant and nourish everything before you can harvest. And so it's easier than ever before to find new people to add into your network and for them to get to know you quicker than ever. But they still will need that time before they're ready to make that choice. So I do feel that this business has such a powerful opportunity here on Instagram. I'm still posting on Facebook, but I will tell you Instagram is my focus. But have a group, you know, just run a challenge group, start a group. I will tell you guys, for the team, anyone who wants to be a part of this, I need to post this in the team page, but I will have an 80-day obsession challenge group starting in January. I don't want to be the face of it. I want to be one of the coaches who is collaborating in it. So any coach who wants to be a part of that with me, I will assign out days of who's posting when. I want it to be a collaborative thing that you can add in your challengers, and we go through the whole program 80 days all together. So don't tell me that you don't have a challenge group that you can invite people to, because I just told you do. Okay? So you guys can all be inviting people to be a part of that now. Now, these are those most important activities. As I said, one of the benefits when things are kind of chaotic is you sift things down to say what is most important And can I let everything else go? This is what's most important, okay? I let go of a lot of little activities that I was like, I don't think it really matters. And these are the things that I'm focusing on. And again, I can assure you, even if you don't feel confident, if you take action, the confidence will follow and the feeling of like excitement about this will follow. Okay, so those are my main 3 things. I have a few last things that I want to talk about here. Now, here's the deal. Maybe this is disappointing for everyone to hear, but you're going to set some goals in this business and you're going to accomplish them. You're going to set some goals for this next year and you're going to accomplish them. And I want you to know this now, that after you climb that mountain, there's another mountain behind it. And I don't want this to be disappointing to you because this is life, okay? So you're not joining Beachbody to reach some specific destination where then life is grand and you live happily ever after. This is a never-ending journey. Now, I want everyone to realize that when I started this team, I called it Forward Fitness for a reason. And that's because if you don't know my background, I was depressed. I was not functioning. Now, maybe you relate to that, maybe you don't. Even if you don't, you can relate probably to not taking action on something because of fear, right? I wasn't taking action on my life because of fear. And finally, I got to a point where I realized I'm not living. I'm doing nothing. And I don't care what happens. I'm going to take one step in front of the other, and I am never giving up. I am going to keep moving forward in my life. And this happened because my very first escapade into fitness was training for a half marathon. And I had never before ran more than 3 miles in my life when I signed up for this half marathon. That was 10 weeks away. And so I started running. And I literally thought, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done. I'm going to die. I literally thought I was going to die multiple times on my runs. And I realized, I am going to move forward. And even if I have to crawl, I'm going to cross that finish line. And I can't fail if I keep moving forward. And that felt so powerful for me in that moment and in my life that when I approached this business, it felt hella scary. And I'm sorry to swear, but I was terrified to do this. I did not feel confident. I did not come in with all of this belief in the world that I can do anything. I'm going to conquer the world. I was scared. I was like, I am so out of place. What am I doing? What have I gotten myself into? And I had that same thought that I just keep moving forward and I refuse to give up on this business, it will be to my benefit and I will accomplish great things and I will look back on this at the end of my life and be proud that I never gave up, that I continued moving forward. But I will tell you guys, I see some people come into this and they accomplish their goals and they hit a 6-figure income and then they're like, why is life still hard? When am I going to feel successful? Why didn't everything change in my life? And I just want you to have that gut check with yourself that you don't think that you're going to hit a goal in this business and everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows. It's not going to be that way, but I can tell you guys that if you have that commitment to climb all the mountains, kind of put that little hashtag there, climb all the mountains, that it is so fulfilling and rewarding to make progress. Because remember that very first slide, happiness equals progress. And so it's not about, I hit the top of this mountain, now I'm happy. It's that matter of moving forward and saying, yep, I climbed this mountain. Now I have a new obstacle and there's a new mountain right behind it and I'm going to conquer that beast. And I refuse to give up and I'm going to keep on going forward. Now, another thing that I've heard from Brooke Castillo, and maybe this feels depressing to people to hear, but she says many times over and over and over again, she says that your life is going to have the same amount of joy and happiness, pain and pleasure, even after you attain goals and you move forward. Nothing's going to massively change in your life. And I thought about that and I'm like, it's interesting because I definitely don't feel like I have the same level of sadness that I did before, but I also would say it's not related to the fact that, we made over 7 figures last year. Like, I wouldn't say it's because of that. Like, I would say it's because I chose to identify things differently and I have chosen to be happy. Like, I've just chosen to say, I'm going to enjoy my life. And it's regardless of goals being achieved or not being achieved. Like, I'm going to be happy now. And so my life does have more joy and happiness, but it's not because of the things I've accomplished in Beachbody. And so I just want to tell you guys, like, if you're sitting here setting goals in this business, please know that you get to do that from a place of joy. Like, please be happy now. Like, please don't delay that. Like, I know we're so driven and we want to do these big things in the world and all of these things. And it is good to have those goals because it pushes you out of your comfort zone and you realize what your true capacity is and what your true potential is. But listen, guys, you get to be happy now and realize that, like, that's not going to change you as a person. Like, you're not going to, like, be a better person once you hit the million club, once you hit 15-star, whatever. And so I want you to do this because you love it. I want you to build this business because you love people. And so I worry when someone says, I don't want to talk to people. And I'm like, really? Because I'm fascinated talking to people. I'm like fascinated to getting to know people because I'm like, tell me how you work. Like, tell me your life story. Like, I want to get to know you. Like, I think people are fascinating and they're so interesting and I like to get to know them and I like building a relationship with them. And I like seeing them change and progress in their life. And I love that. I find joy in that. And so I'm boggled when someone says they don't want to invite or that, because I'm thinking, boy, that's like the joy in this. And so I want you to do this from a place of love. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately because my house is freaking clean. And what I mean by that is I'm like, it's been really surprising to me. So if you don't know, I moved into our dream home like a year and a half ago. And our home is beautiful. And I don't say that from a place of bragging. I say it from a place of awe that I get to live here. Like, I am so grateful that we live in this home. And I never in a million years thought I would live in such a beautiful place. And I think every single day, I'm like, I feel so grateful that I'm like, I want to keep our home clean. And I want to keep our home, like, I take care of it because I love it. And I thought of the very first car I ever got. And it was a Hyundai. Like, the Honda knockoffs, like the really cheap cars, the Hyundais. And please don't be offended if you have a Hyundai. They're inexpensive cars. And so I got this $3,000 car as my very first car. And I washed that thing every single week. I vacuumed it out every single week. And I did the little tire spray on the tires because I wanted them to shine, the tires to shine. And I was so proud of that car. I loved it because I was so grateful to have a car. And I took care of it. And so I'm bringing this up because, guys, in this business, I want you to love yourself. So when we talk about these vital behaviors of do your personal development and do the workouts and drink that shake, do it from a place that you love yourself enough and you respect yourself enough to do those things. Not because you're like, I need to lose weight. I have an obligation to other people and I have to do it. You don't have to do anything. You don't owe anybody anything. Do it because you love yourself. And when we talk about inviting and introducing other people into this business opportunity and into your challenge groups, do it because you love those people and you want to add value to those people. And you're like, I care about humans. Like, I care about people, and I can see how this business has changed me for the better. So I want to share that with them. I want to spread this and I want to talk about it because I love people. And I love the experiences of setting a goal and failing. because of what I learned about it. And I love the opportunity to set a goal and achieve it because of what I learned through that experience, because I am here to observe. I am here to learn and to grow and to love all of these experiences, all of the emotions that come with all of it. And that's why I set goals, and that's why I'm excited for 2018, because I'm willing to love all of that, and I'm willing to climb all of those mountains and continue moving forward no matter what comes in my way. So guys, I encourage you to approach this 2018 saying, I know what I want. I can identify what has held me back this year, and I'm letting it go. I'm moving forward, and I am taking action, okay? And I'm doing this all from a place of love. I'm taking care of my challengers because I love them. I'm taking care of my team because I love them. And I'm taking care of this business and myself because I am coming from a place of love. And so that's it. I haven't even checked the comments, but I just want to thank you all for being on this call. I will stop the recording and stay on to just make sure I covered everything from any comments. But thank you guys all for being on this call. I honor you and I respect you, and thank you for being a part of this with me. Thanks.